Anywhere you go, I'll be right there. Anywhere you go, I'll be right there. Anywhere you go, I'll be right there. Anywhere you go.
Hello! Welcome! Testing! Testing, testing! We should be good to go. Let me crank up my mic a tiny bit here. Hopefully nobody cares. Alright. Howdy! Welcome to the inaugural episode, I guess, of Streamer News. This is an attempt to do some sort of live stream show where I recap the the past week's worth of news specifically relating or as closely related as possible to live streaming and game streaming tech and things like that. I've tried a couple of news shows before where it's just general tech, and there's enough other channels out there that are already, just doing, I'm gonna talk about general tech news today. And it doesn't really work that well for me, I don't think. And so I think it's better off if we focus on, what my channel's focused on, which is streamer-related things. At least you still have your check mark. Yeah, for now. They haven't taken anybody's check marks away. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the layout is going to be mostly like this. I am noticing I wanted to do it in a 2:1 wider aspect ratio to make it more mobile friendly, but I'm realizing that YouTube still has not fixed their live streams. And so for the live stream, it's still showing it with letterboxing. So kind of a derp on my part, but future episodes will just go back to 16:9, I guess. But I'm using a lot of my Twitch layout here, but I've made some custom graphics, and I'm going to kind of evolve the show as it goes. My goal here is to make this roughly bi-weekly, so it supplements Friday videos, because Fridays really don't do well for videos anyway, every couple weeks. And we'll see how it goes from there. Feedback, of course, will always be accepted in the chat or, in the comment section if you're watching this after the fact. And I guess let's try to get into our first news topic today. We've already got our first super chat. Yes, super chats do in fact work. We will be having segments where if they start piling up for some reason, we will have a section where we dedicate to that. But yes, they do in fact work, so get them in if you like, and I'll get to them as I can. And we'll see how it goes. So hopefully you're 100% awesome, Crochet Dude. But I will be talking about the verification checkmark thing. I did not pull up the blog post for that, so let me go ahead and do that real quick. But we're not going to be starting with that. Happy Friday to you as well, Digital Boundaries. Hope you're doing all right. blog.tubebuddy.com. I will try to rush back in as soon as the VOD of this is up and add in all of the links for the relevant news stories as we cover today. And actually, let's go ahead. I don't actually have this on the list, so let's go ahead and talk about the verification thing real quick. So let's switch on over here.
The news!
So don't know if you guys have seen, some of you have because obviously it's being memed in the chat, but YouTube has made a change. They sent out an email yesterday morning saying, wow, yesterday went by really fast for me. They sent out an email yesterday morning stating that they are making changes to the YouTube verification program and that myself, as well as other content creators, no longer qualify for the verification checkmark. And if you don't know what that is the little check mark next to the channel name. Let me pull it up here. So it's a little check mark next to my name there that basically it just kind of validates that this is the real channel of the person. And the goal of this is to help weed out some people's the imposter channels, the false uploads. Their YouTube used to, and I believe they still sort of do, have a massive problem with fake giveaway comments and things like that, where you'd have like a weirdly written Markiplier saying, "Hey, you've won an Amazon gift card. Click here to get it," or PewDiePie or whatever. And so the point of it was to kind of help weed that out. And this is a universally accepted thing. If you have a check mark next to your name on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, whatever, you were verified, and that means that you are the legit account. And the goal is that if you see someone else that is that, they're probably not it. I got verified back in 2016, maybe 2015, when I was working for an MCN. I was 100,000 or under 100,000 subscribers, but when verification first came out, it actually had the kind of vague requirements that they have now, which is, you need to be established. I don't know if I actually screenshotted. Yeah, you need to have authenticity and prominence in order to, be an established creator. And then they just kind of decided at will who would get it, and then eventually they couldn't keep up logistically, as YouTube never can, with all of the influx of people saying, "Hey, I want to be verified, I want to be verified, I want to be verified," and so they set up a kind of, it wasn't automated, but a system where you could apply and easily get verified once you hit 100,000 subscribers and got your play button. It was part of that whole process. Well, they've decided that they're taking that away from pretty much everyone, including channels with over 1 million subscribers. Barnacules got flagged for it, and despite the fact that he runs LLC, is verified on other platforms, etc., they say he doesn't qualify for YouTube verification. The same thing to Lazy Game Reviews, who has well over 1 million subscribers. And so clearly they're just flagging everybody and waiting on the appeals process. And granted, this doesn't take away verification until late October. And so they opened up an appeals process, and they said, I'm not recording this episode. That sucks. Anyway, they said that they're going to look through the appeals and, process them before they start taking away badges, but it's still kind of a problem. And what this ended up coinciding with was what I believe to be some sort of visual bug on mobile YouTube, where nobody's channel was displaying verification. And so everyone kept tweeting, they unverified PewDiePie, they unverified their own Google and YouTube channels and things like that, when they haven't actually unverified anybody yet. That was just some sort of weird bug on mobile where it wasn't showing up at all. I actually have here, so I wanted to showcase one of the problems that YouTube has with their current verification system is that depending on where you are on YouTube, the verification badge looks entirely different. You see how it looks on my channel page. In chat, or in a community channel comment, it looks like this. In a normal comment in the Creator Studio, it looks like that. On YouTube Studio, on mobile, it looks like that. In the chat right now, it has this weird yellow thing. I'm not signed into chat on my OBS plugin, so I can't chat right now, but it looks like this weird little yellow check mark. But then on mobile, there isn't anything there. And that's how it looked in 2016. But YouTube's reasoning for this is that people don't understand verification and they see it as endorsement. And YouTube is tired of having channels or people crop up with verification check marks who say racist things or, anti-Semitic stuff or something, and it looking like YouTube endorses them by verifying them. And YouTube just doesn't want to be responsible for that anymore. And so they are taking that away from pretty much everybody. Now, I'm confident enough that I have enough proof for their verification, as well as Barnacules and Lazy Game Reviews and things like that, that they'll just say, okay, you're fine, you get to keep it. But the initial email wave was certainly terrible for PR, especially when people are already mad at YouTube. And it's one of those things, Twitter actually closed down their entire verification process. You have to actually know the right people, quote unquote, actually know somebody who knows somebody in order to get verified. People still get verified, but there's no open application for it. And that means that in a situation like mine, where I'm verified on YouTube, that's helped me get verified on other platforms. I'm trying to leverage that to get verified on Twitter, because I now finally have like a decent following on Twitter. Go follow me at twitter.com/EposVox, by the way. If that gets taken away, then that takes away my leverage to get verified elsewhere. And if I'm not verified elsewhere, that takes away my leverage to get verified on YouTube. And so it's like a cycle of YouTube just wants to lock everybody out, potentially. And again, YouTube really sucks with communication, and I really don't think their intentions are super malicious here. I'm a huge believer in Hanlon's razor, which basically says, don't mistake don't mistake stupidity for malice. Like, don't think that someone's trying to screw people over when really they're just making bad decisions. And so I think that's what's going on here. But since somebody brought it up, I wanted that to be our first topic here. Secondly, Blue has announced a new microphone. I believe this is their first one since their buyout from Logitech has actually like formally taken place, because they did release the little Blue Spark, which I need to review still soon. I've mentioned it in a couple videos. And then they just released a new Logitech headset with a Blue microphone that, from what I hear, is not super great. I haven't watched the reviews yet, but they announced the new Blue Yeti X. And this has more of a form factor, kind of like the Blue Yeti Nano that they released. So it's a little bit smaller, or less a little awkward. It is $170 though. So that is quite the price tag. Now, they are promising some big stuff here. It is only USB. So if you are looking for something with like a good upgrade path or something, it is only USB. For many reasons, I obviously am not going to recommend it for that. You've got a little RGB LED on here that is supposed to help you meter your levels, so you can see kind of on the mic, although you'll just be like staring at your mic the whole time, but you can see, you know, how loud you are, how your levels are, and things like that. And you can customize the color of that. They have a whole Blue voice audio effects suite to apply real-time post-processing to your voice, which is super handy, and I encourage in any USB mic to develop that and make it, as long as it's going to be low latency and not super problematic. Definitely keep that going. And then they have a couple other things, like they keep showing it on the stand, but they do actually, I was quite happy to see if I can find the spot for it. Yeah, they are trying to advertise their microphone arm here, because I had someone else tweeting me, you know, they shouldn't even include their microphone stand, because like no one should be using these microphones on the stands they come on, and I totally agree. Actually, it looks like it's smaller than the original Blue Yeti, but there it definitely doesn't. Anyway, so they do, they do include the arm mounting kit, because you should not be sitting this on your desk next to your monitor and yelling into it, because it's not how microphone hardware works, as I've preached about many times. Still has the 4 different polar patterns, which everyone's just going to use cardioid anyway, because for 99% of people, the rest of these are pointless. But then, like I said, customizable LED, and then the Blue software effects, which is integrated into Logitech G Hub. Logitech G Hub is not required, which I'm grateful for, because I've had nothing but terrible experiences with G Hub recently. But if you do hook it up with G Hub, you get all of these, you know, real-time processing effects and things like that, which is pretty cool. Price is $170. It is quite pricey, although the original Blue Yeti and the Yeti Pro actually started out pretty expensive. The actual controls on the mic itself seem to be a lot more refined and a better choice, so I really like that. But overall, I would have just really appreciated if they made it both USB and XLR like the Yeti Pro. And so I'm kind of disappointed in that, but I'm hoping I can get my hands on it to review it. As I mentioned, oh, it does do 24-bit, by the way, now, instead of just 16-bit. But like I said, I still have another microphone I need to review from Blues. That is an XLR mic, so we'll see if I actually get around to this. But specs-wise, it doesn't look terrible, so we'll see. Next up, ooh, I was really excited about this. I don't even know if that I pulled up the right page for it, so I'm just going to open a new tab with it anyway. This capture card, or capture device, video mixer as it actually is, I don't know the formal definition, the ATEM Mini from BlackMagic is one of the best value video capture and streaming devices you can buy right now. For $300, you are getting 4 1080p 60 HDMI inputs, all in 10-bit, all switchable, 2 3.5mm audio channels that you can mix, 1 HDMI output that can either be for program or for a dedicated source, and they specifically cite in this, there we go, in this Pro AV TV video, they specifically cite game streaming as a use case wherein you can just pass through a game console and only see your game console from the preview. Now, keep in mind, a lot of BlackMagic hardware does tend to have a single frame buffer for their output, especially since it's a mixer. But for a lot of people, it should still be fine. If not, just use an HDMI splitter. It's fine. But for the price, for $300, which is the price of a lot of capture cards that only do 1 input and output, you get 4 inputs. Where's the back? Yeah, 4 inputs, 1 output. It's USB-C for a webcam output, and since they specify webcam output, I'm almost thinking that it's going to be UVC compatible. So you can run this feed to OBS. It does all of the mixing and compositing for you. You can upload graphics to it, I believe, or call graphics from their API. It's got picture-in-picture modes. It's got transitions. It's got video and audio mixing. You've got all of this control, and you can even control it from like a completely separate computer through the network. Now, it is only 1080p, so it's older hardware. Obviously, the price has come down, but this is some of the best value hardware that you can get for capture stuff. that I would really love to see more game tournaments and things like that take a look at. Someone mentioned the Blue mic does not have 32-bit float, so they're not interested. I assure you, you are probably not going to see USB microphones with 32-bit float anytime soon, if ever. That's just... Don't expect it. Plus, in like live streaming apps, you can't record 32-bit float real time. That's not how it works. So, no. But this device has me so excited. I am hopefully going to get to review it, but I'm reviewing another camera from BlackMagic first. So, you know, I have to do things in order. So I don't get to review it necessarily this year, but I am super stoked to get to take a look at it. All right, let us go ahead and briefly talk about OBS version 24. Anybody have any questions before we get to it about the first two products we talked about, the ATEM Mini or the Blue Yeti X? Blue Yeti X. It's in the mic. Let's get some more light. There we go. I'm a little bit brighter now. I'm using a NW800 Pro. Is that a BM800 clone? Interesting. Game tournaments will definitely use the ATEM Mini. They're all 1080p 60 outside of yeah. I mean, most... Okay. So this is kind of a controversial opinion, but I really think, like, if you want to get the most out of your game streaming or just broadcast experience in general, keeping everything at 1080p 60 is actually the smoothest way to go. Gaming at 1080p, even if it's 240, like keeping the 1080p resolution, trying to keep everything at 1080p, you know, keeping your entire signal chain at that resolution is going to open the doors for all the different hardware you can use that hasn't caught up to high refresh rate or 4K, things like that, and will just make your experience so much smoother. Now, there will be some limitations with that ATEM in terms of the granular control you have over certain graphic effects or certain plugins or things like that, and you'll still have to pair it a little bit with some of the capabilities of OBS, but it will take a lot of load off of your system that OBS is otherwise doing, because OBS is really great at the compositing aspect, at creating this whole scene here where I have an animated frame, a browser source, another browser source, two different text, my camera feed. Like, it's good at this compositing aspect, but it's not so good at the mixing aspect. BlackMagic's ATEM hardware is really good at the mixing aspect. And so, really freaking cool. One issue with the ATEM Mini for certain productions is lack of SDI. That is certainly true. I would think for the price tag that it's targeting, though, like, the user base is going to be more HDMI based, and anybody else using SDI probably has a fair amount of HDMI to SDI conversion in their chain of, you know, setting everything up anyway. Would you recommend the Electro Voice RE320? I certainly would. I have a whole review about it. I'm going to pull that up here. It is from 2016, so keep in mind a little bit of the cringe and my overprocessing, but it is one of my favorite mics. I will link it in the chat here. RE320, especially if you don't want to, like, fine-tune your like post-processing. Like, it sounds really good out of the box. So I will go ahead and drop that here. SDI to HDMI conversion is fairly cheap, but it's still, like, you're looking at $80 per pop, and so if you're using 4 inputs, like, that doubles the cost of your investment in the capture hardware. So I understand, you know, that would be additional cost, but most productions are already going to have them in the chain if they're running with SDI in the first place. So that's certainly worth keeping in mind. Hey, can buy Soundcraft Signature 12 MTK for a nice price 2PC setup, still ideal, or go XLR? Depending on how much mixing you're wanting to do with the 2PC setup. If you just need one input and output to the second PC and you're not bringing in a whole lot of other sources, the Go XLR is actually a better value, especially since it's cheaper and has more streaming specific features and functionality. If you're only using one XLR mic, I would still kind of point you towards the Go XLR. The Soundcraft Signature mixer is more for me because I mix multiple different analog sources that literally would not even connect to the Go XLR. So that's keep in mind that. Let's go ahead, flip on over to OBS Studio version 24. So I have the release notes here on GitHub. In case you didn't see my video, I did of course post a whole video about this with a beautiful backdrop of my video set. I'm going to start doing more videos shot in front of that again. So go check that out. It's on my channel. It's my most recent video other than the stream, of course. But a couple big notable changes, of course, is the ability to pause recordings while you're in the middle of recording. Now, you can't have your recording set to use stream encoder, because in order to pause recording, it would pause your live stream, basically, because the use stream encoder isn't running a second encoder. But if you're recording separately or just dedicated recording, you can pause it. People have proposed a few different scenes where they say that it makes their workflow easier to be able to pause. But in 90% of those cases for me, it seems that just editing your video, if you're editing your video anyway, having multiple clips doesn't at all slow you down, and in fact would probably speed it up, because if you still have to chop around the pause points, then it would be easier to know where they are by having a separate video in the first place. But a lot of people seem to want it and seem to think that it's going to help them. I'm all for that. If that's the case, go for it, by all means. Also, the dynamic bitrate adjustment. So now, instead of dropping frames, if your internet speed just decides it can't keep up anymore, it will actually just lower your bitrate to like try to match it to whatever your internet pipe will support at the time, so that you still get smooth 30 or 60 frames per second or what have you. But then you'll be able to keep, it will adjust and not fall apart. And then the other one is the custom browser docks. And if I try to do something really stupid here, I'm going to try to cut to my main desktop to show you that I'm using that right now. Oh my god, this is probably a terrible idea. But you can see here, I have added into OBS my own YouTube chat pop-out. Since I'm doing live events, I can't just sign in with OBS. So I have my own YouTube chat embedded into the, hey, what's up, tech testers? Into the OBS window, so that I can keep an eye on chat even while I'm doing other stuff without having the full bulky YouTube page pulled up. So it is pretty cool.
The news!
Like I said, lots of little features. It's not a big revolutionary update or game-changing update like OBS 23 was back in February, where we got the new NVENC encoder and things like that. I really hope by, say, next spring we'll get the AMD and Intel equivalent of the zero-copy encoders that they implemented for NVENC, but they haven't done that yet. So it's still a pretty cool update, and I'm excited to check it out nonetheless. And that brings us to the end of the first segment of this. I need to fix a drink of water and set up a video call, because we're going to be talking about Mixer here in a second with my moderator, Ice Orb. So I'm going to go ahead and run a couple sponsored spots and see how this runs, because I've never done this on a live stream before. So we're obviously, whenever I stream, you guys know that I stream so infrequently that I always try to do something different that challenges myself to figure it out on the fly. That way I can make better videos. And so we're running some dedicated ad spots here. We're gonna see what happens.
Mic Wireless can boldly go where no mic has gone before. This microphone can attach to any headphones, requires no additional wires, features very low latency, a dual capsule microphone, 12-hour battery life, and LED indicators on the receiver so you know when you're muted and or when the battery is running low. And you can basically run your entire house without ever losing a signal. What more could you ask for? Learn more by clicking the link in the video description. Best tool you can get to manage your YouTube channel. You can update videos in bulk, optimize your SEO, syndicate to social media, back up your metadata, and more, all with a simple browser extension. Head to EposVox.com/TubeBuddy to learn more and download it for free. Mute me. All right, so for this segment, I wanted to talk a little bit about Mixer, and not because of any blue-haired Halo or Fortnite streaming people, but the actual website itself, the platform itself, why you should use it and things like that. You guys have seen I've posted a couple Twitter videos and a couple screenshots of the just like
assault, a visual assault that Mixer subjects you to whenever you log into the website. But I've had a few people on my Discord server now who have actually, switched to streaming to Mixer just to try something new and see what it's about. And so I've got my community manager, Ice Orb, on the line like we're some fancy radio show.
That's me.
And he's been streaming to Mixer a little bit and learning the process. There's been a lot of weird things about it, and I just wanted to hear, what it's like compared to Twitch, because Twitch is kind of like, Hitbox and YouTube, like you just kind of sign up and you're ready to go. Mixer's a little different.
Yeah. So when you sign up, it's kind of attached to your, the primary account they want you attached to it is your Windows login. If you do that, no problem. You're in and out like 30 seconds. But when you sign up and you don't want to use that, if you want to use like Discord or something, or if you want to use Twitter, I forget what the other account option is. It's a little bit more difficult. Like I tried to just register a parody account of a popular streamer who might be the 2-time blockbuster champion in the world. And it took me 3 days because I couldn't get it to authenticate every time I clicked Discord login or Twitter login. It kept saying this service is not available, and finally whatever combination of whatever I did to get to that point where I could click login, it just all clicked and worked, and I was able to get my dumb parody account set up. Yeah, it's that aspect of it's not great. But just signing in, like if you just use your Windows account, you're all Gucci. It just works.
So once you're set up and you're live streaming, how has that gone?
How is it?
After you wait 24 hours.
Yeah, so that's the other rub is once you get signed up, unless you're streaming from your Xbox, you gotta keep that in mind. If you are streaming from your Xbox, you can go live immediately. If you are not streaming from the Xbox, you gotta wait 24 hours for a stream key to get generated. Which I get that. It seems like they're trying to prevent people from just signing up and just dumping on people's channels or making bad content just going on there and being trolls. I get that. I think that's really aggressive, 24 hours. But they probably also don't have anyone like manning that. They probably it's just automatic. You wait and you get your key. But
and that's been my concern about kind of the way that they have kind of turned recently is that they I didn't follow Mixer super closely until recently. I've checked in on it a few times. I've had an account pretty much since the beginning. But once they started getting a lot of Twitch versus Mixer attention, they started making some serious deliberate decisions to do whatever, like take whatever Twitch is doing wrong and then do the opposite of that. So even like their dress code rules are like super extreme so that they don't have to deal with that. And that makes me worried that once they do start hitting more mainstream, they don't necessarily have the like logistical infrastructure to keep up with some of those things, which Twitch itself already is struggling with.
Well, another thing that concerned me when I found out about it, I believe Alex is in your chat. I'm pretty sure I saw him talking earlier.
Technical.
Homie was streaming like less than a week ago, and he still had to do the 24-hour wait. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why? You don't trust him now?
It makes sense for new accounts, but not like once you've already been going for a while. But apparently they did send out emails and tweets and stuff, but nobody seems to have seen them.
Yeah, I mean...
We know Alex doesn't check his email, though, so there's that.
It's true. But, yeah, as far as using the service, once you get on there, there's a lot to like. Like the dashboard, real simple. You set your title, you set your game, you set your join message. That's it. They keep all of the little options for if you want to save this VOD. Like they even put like chat customization options right there if you're gonna end up using that the Mixer dashboard to monitor your chat or anything. It's really nice. Another thing that's super nice, VODs are almost instant. Like
Ooh.
you get them very quickly, and you can download them just with a simple, right button, left button.
That's
you
pretty
don't,
cool.
and that's also instant. You can change all the names and stuff, move them around. Like if you wanted to use it as like an archive, you only got 14 days to keep these VODs, so you do eventually have to download everything if you want to keep it.
Twitch doesn't let you keep them forever either.
That's true, but they let me keep it for a little bit longer. Like, what was it, 30 days?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super nice. It's very, very easy to use. Like they've thought about the things that seemed like a big problem to use on Twitch and fixed that, which is cool. But then you also interact with the viewing experience, which I think you compared to early MySpace.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the hell that chat thing is about, where you have to like drag over from the right with an invisible button that you can't see. I don't know why that's a thing. Why isn't there just a little, hamburger button that just drops down the chat and you can just click it and it comes back? Like, the other thing is if you're customizing your profile and you get really super into it, one thing you'll notice that's actually awesome is you can format it however you want. You can just use normal markup, and you can make a really nice looking little profile. It's like a little mini website right below your video page. And then you'll go and load that on your phone, and it looks like butt because it doesn't change based on the platform you're looking at it. And yeah, you could just minimize or you could just shrink your window down that you're viewing that on, and it'll do the same thing. I posted screenshots of it in the Discord earlier in the week. I was like, oh man, it's like I can fix this or I can just not care.
Yeah. And they have lots of weird on-screen elements like the leaderboards below the stream that just make the stream really small and the text don't fit in the boxes. And there was one stream I pulled up that just like poured flowers all over my screen out of nowhere.
Yeah. The abilities. I love the abilities though. I have to admit, like it is a way for people to interact with the stream that can't afford it.
Yeah.
Because they can just sit there watching the stream and they'll get a ton of what are they called, sparks, and they can just use that to interact with the chat, like let them know like, hey, I'm here. And if they're partners, that actually directly turns into revenue for the partner. I think like the conversion rate for sparks to dollars is something like 1 million. So like 1 million sparks is $100.
Yeah.
But I think you need 5 million sparks to pay out. I don't know if that's accurate because last time I asked about it, it was about a month or two ago, and that was when I got real into talking to one of the streamers on there, one of the R6 streamers that was on there. But it's still here. They said they were taking it away.
Right.
And then there's the other sub currency, which is just, it's basically bits. I think they're called embers. They do the same thing though. Like you can buy a bunch of embers. You can use them to buy abilities that are exclusive to the embers. Partnered streamers might have exclusive ember only abilities. It's a different way to show support in a more interactive style. It's neat. It's super weird though, but it's neat.
It's just really hard to keep track of. Like even now, I was trying to pull up examples of like, there we go, there's one of the skills, and like all of the like Smite games and Paladin games, they only have Ember skills, so you can't use the Spark ones, and like it's just hard to keep track of all the different. I think I equated it to Warframe, where you jump in for the first time and there's like 5 different currencies, and you have no clue what any of it means, and
I still don't know what any of it means. I'm trying. So don't sign up thinking you're going to become a Sparks millionaire overnight, because let me tell you something right now. It takes a long time just to get 20,000 like he had.
Yeah.
I leave my stream open just so that when Alex goes live, I can drop hype sandwiches in the chat for the entirety of the stream.
Oh. So, if anyone's interested in Mixer, what's one thing you think they should know as someone who just started? Since you are someone who just started.
One thing that they should know, the latency is incredibly low. You just put a video up where we were goofing around with Discord Live, and the biggest thing that we loved about that was the latency. Like you could have instant interaction with your with the people, with your viewers, and that's here. You can use FTL, and it's kind of flawless. Like there's no real impact on the video quality. Like people can just say something in your chat and you see it right away and react to it. It's the best thing about the site is the latency on the video feed is incredible. Like I can't overstate how important that is when you go into a Twitch streamer's channel and they on top of not having low latency enabled, they also don't look at their chat. It's the immediate turnoff. This is the complete opposite end of that. People look at their chat, they use FTL, they are maintaining direct conversations with people, and it's really fun because of it.
I noticed that when I was getting into a couple of the streams I was watching, I apparently developed this habit with Twitch streams where I'd say something in chat to like say hi to somebody that I'm starting to watch, and then I'll go like get up to get me something to drink or whatever, and then come back and not get the response until I come back. And I did that like twice in a Mixer chat. I said something, and then literally before I could sit up, they were already responding.
Yep.
And I'm just like, oh, you read that already. Okay.
That's happened to me too. I'm like ready for the delay. I get up and do something, and then I come back. I'm like, oh, I missed it. Can you say it again? I'll donate. Come on.
Say my name. No. All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I believe Ice is going to make a video on this subject at some point soon, if not already.
Yeah.
So I will have his channel linked in the description once the VOD is up. Go check that out, because Mixer's something I want to talk more about. Yeah, you can put it in the chat. Mixer's something I want to cover more, but haven't had the time to get the experience with, so it's cool being able to point people to people who have experience. Yeah. Thank you for coming on, and we're going to talk about OBS at TwitchCon in just a moment.
Thanks, guys.
The news!
Okay, so if you missed it, OBS Studio, the OBS team, I don't know exactly how many members, but at least one member that I chat with regularly that's in our Discord is going to be at TwitchCon, which is next weekend, September 25th through the 27th, I believe. I actually don't remember now. I'm bad with calendars. 27th through the 29th. They will be at TwitchCon. They will have their own dedicated booth. They're one of the like sponsor exhibitors or whatever, and they will have audio lag. What? It shouldn't be lagging or desynced. They will have exclusive t-shirts that you can only pick up there. I don't believe OBS has ever had t-shirts before, and you can only get them there. And yes, I have already started begging a couple people that I know are going to TwitchCon to pick one up for me, because it seems a little weird for me to not have a shirt about OBS and other general population people too, doesn't it? So hopefully I can get one picked up from a buddy. But super excited. Go pick that up if you're interested. Just wanted to mention that. They will be showcasing... I lost my notes. They were showcasing some stuff. New OBS 24 features and other surprises. So I don't know what that is, to be honest. I'm not kept up with a lot of this stuff, but should be pretty exciting. So go check it out. And of course, TwitchCon itself is next week. So, go have fun with that. We'll talk about anything that pops up at TwitchCon, because usually they do like Twitch-specific announcements or things like that there in the next show. And so I am looking forward to seeing what new features or experiments they roll out and talk about that sometimes we won't see for another year. But very excited for that. So let me know if you are going to TwitchCon. Excuse me. Let me know if you're going to TwitchCon. I am not this year. Hopefully I can try to make it next year. I've had a lot of people ask about it. It's one of those things where, I talk about streaming a lot, and now I'm finally accepting that I'm wrapping my brand a little bit more around streaming. But since I'm not a streamer, I feel like I'd be kind of out of place by going to TwitchCon, but a lot of people have, asked if I was there and talked about me going. So hopefully next year I can make it, because it seems like a pretty cool place to just kind of meet everybody and things like that. And yeah, NVIDIA will be showing off some stuff as well. I don't believe it's anything new. I think it's mainly just going to be, streaming with RTX and things like that. The new NVINC encoder, stuff I talked about at DreamHack and have the panel on linked in the channel, of course. Next up, also I just wanted to mention, I don't have a Twitter link for this at the moment, but the Sub 2R team for that camera that I reviewed will also be at TwitchCon, with booths where you can test out the camera and the lighting and the color, brown wrapping, yeah, brand around, where you can test out the color substitution and the color grading workflow that they've been working on and things like that. So if you ever wanted to test out the Sub 2R camera that I showed off for yourself, since, it's a little bit expensive to try for yourself before you buy, that will be a good place to do so, with some actual hands-on setup, streaming setups, where they might have it set up a little bit better than I did. So I'm excited to see what people's impressions are at TwitchCon of the camera, and see if they come back and comment on the video talking about actually getting to use it. While we're on the subject of OBS, got a couple chat messages I wanted to acknowledge here. By the way, if you want to get top of priority, since I am missing a lot of chat since I'm focusing on the news, Super Chat is, of course, always the way to go for that. And channel members will get exclusive emotes and things like that show up in the chat for you as well. I should go because I work for streamers, but yeah. I mean, mainly the big deal with going to TwitchCon and things like that is travel is pretty hard for me and super expensive. I don't really have the budget for it, so I'm always waiting for a company to send me to events, and it just really didn't work out this season. But hopefully next year I will for sure be trying to make it. What is your opinion on OBS and Streamlabs OBS in terms of video quality and latency? I mean, in that regard, they're exactly the same. Streamlabs OBS uses OBS Core for all of its actual video streaming functionality, so there would be no difference whatsoever. So yeah, I'm not super big on Streamlabs at the moment, and I'll talk about that probably in the future. I don't know that now's the right time, and I don't think I'll be covering Streamlabs stuff a whole lot in the future, but in terms of core functionality for quality and latency, they would be virtually identical. All right, next up we have, oh yeah, I wanted to show this, and I think I closed the article page for it because I am a dum-dum. Here we go. If I've been covering BlackMagic DaVinci Resolve and my Ursa Mini Pro camera, and I covered the Pocket Cinema Camera 4K and their new BRAW RAW format, BlackMagic has finally released an official BRAW plugin for Premiere Pro instead of having to pay $25 for the third-party one. This is getting integrated into Premiere Pro and will let you support that footage natively for grading and things like that. However, it still, just like the paid one, does not yet utilize your GPU very effectively, and that's one of the big advantages of BlackMagic RAW, is that it is, in Resolve at least, it's very GPU relevant, so it's not just taxing your processor the whole time. It offloads a lot of that decoding and debayering onto your graphics card and performs incredibly well. Well, Premiere does not involve your graphics card in such a strong capacity or cooperate as well with it, and so they haven't figured that out yet, but BlackMagic is working closely with the Premiere team to try to make this happen, and I have it on good word that Premiere in general is getting a lot of GPU related updates coming in the future. I don't know, nor could share specifics or anything like that, but Premiere should be getting a little bit more improved moving forward. AMD has finally addressed the missing 3950X from their processor stack that everybody thought was launching at the end of August and then the start of September. They have said that they are focusing on meeting the strong demand for their third generation processors because stock, especially on the 3900X, has been basically non-existent. So they're trying to get stock going, and that they are planning on launching the 3950X and the initial members, and this is what people were getting mad at me for, the initial members of 3rd Gen Ryzen Threadripper family in volume in November. So that means that they knew that the 3900X stock wasn't keeping up. They're focusing on, building up enough stock to keep selling it, and so they want enough stock in order to sell the 3950X and not sell out immediately once it launches. So they're delaying it till November. I believe the BIOS, the, boosting fixes and things like that also played a small factor into delays, but the 3950X and the initial members of that family for Threadripper are getting delayed. Personally, I am waiting for the workstation class of Threadripper. My goal, and I don't have specifics other than what was leaked on like Gamers Nexus and things like that, my goal of what I would want out of Threadripper is the WRX80 class, the workstation class, where I can have 8-channel memory, I can have up to 128 PCIe lanes, but a 24-core CPU. I've actually been doing some testing behind the scenes with the AMD, the Rome Epic CPU, the 7402, which is a 24-core, 48-thread CPU, and that combined even with a baby graphics card is outperforming in all of my video editing and rendering tests. It's performing circles around my 3900X rig and my 7980 with a Titan RTX rig right now. So that is what I want. I want basically my Asus workstation motherboard that I have for my i9 right now, but translated over to X570. So I have all the PCIe slots I need, all the NVMe storage, and all of that. But given that it's only the initial members of that Threadripper family that are launching, I get the feeling that my initial goal and dream of having this in my system by the end of the year so I could get rid of the oven that is my 7980XE, I believe those dreams are going to be ever so slightly crushed. And that's unfortunate, but if that means that they're doing it right, I'm all for it. They also released the first ever image of AMD Threadripper, and this isn't even like an actual photograph. This is just a 3D render. Although it would be kind of cool and very problematic if the CPU had an LED heatsink, but clearly that's not an actual like photograph or anything like that. So, you know, take this with whatever. Although it does say here that it is premiering with 24 cores. So if they aren't separating the TRX80 and the WRX80 based on core count, I might get a workstation 24 core at launch. We shall see. Got a couple chat needs addressed here just so I'm keeping up with everything. Why is YouTube live streaming so glitchy? Why are our viewers getting kicked out of our stream and being sent to other channels? I have never heard of that. RE320 over RE20. RE20 requires a little bit more processing to get quite right, and I just haven't been happy with the sound of it. And the RE320, I am able to basically process, not in OBS necessarily, but in my Adobe Audition software for videos, I'm able to post-process it under the right conditions to make it sound almost identical to how I sound on my Sennheiser MKH416 microphone, which is my favorite microphone of all time. So I'm just trying to keep things a little bit more consistent. Any real performance improvement in the new CPU optimizations of OBS 24? I don't know. You can dig through X264 documentation. I haven't seen anything that believes that there's a significant improvement, but they have been making changes to X64 over time, of course, so it'll, as I said in my video, it'll be subtle and not something you notice, just good that they're upgrading it. That's pretty much all there is. 3950X is November with the new Threadrippers as per AMD. That's literally what I was looking at and referencing, and it does say the initial members of the Threadripper family, not the whole Threadripper family. We were... Does nobody look at the screen? Did you hear about the new BlackMagic ATEM Mini? Yes. Go back in the stream. That was one of our first topics. All right. So, one of the last topics for today is a big one. We actually have two. So there is Discord Nitro here. Let me pull that up. Q2U for the win. So Discord is changing their Nitro subscription, and they are removing their Nitro games catalog. I find this really weird that this was announced all of a sudden, because as of like 2 weeks ago, like right before they made this announcement, they were still sponsoring YouTubers to promote like the Warframe and other, you know, games bundles where you got free in-game items for playing it through Discord. They're actually removing the entire catalog in less than a month. So I'm guessing they just either can't sustain the resources and they really just need to like offload it immediately, or there were some licensing issues or whatever, but they are very quickly getting rid of this. And so I don't know, apparently a lot of people found that to be like the only selling point for Discord Nitro for them, and so they're trying to, you know, boost up some other options like Go Live and things like that. The Discord team's goal is to make, you know, a companion app for gaming where you know, you get the ability to chat and hang out and do all these kind of cool social things with your friends while gaming, and they're still focused on that, but they're just not going to work with the game system for Discord Nitro anymore. So it'll be interesting to see how they try to kind of pull up and bring other useful additions to Discord Nitro because honestly, for a lot of people, it hasn't seemed worth it. I rely on Discord for building my community. Come join us at eposvox.com/discord. I will spam that in the chat here. https://eposvox.com/discord is the invite link, because they have yet to partner me for some reason. So I have my own vanity URL because lol. Whoa, it just started. What is happening to chat? Is that happening to you guys? Hold up. What in the world? So I am pasting my Discord link and it just keeps changing it to the emote thing. I don't know how to show you this. Here, hang on. This is really trippy. I want to show you this. This is kind of the weird stuff that happens during live streams. Okay, so I have the chat pulled up over here. Although I have the Streamer News logo over it. Hang on, let me turn that off. So I have the chat over here. Paste. You can see it's the Discord link. It just renames it. What is happening? Okay, ISIS isn't getting renamed. Look. I've never seen that before. Super bizarre. What's up, namespace? Is that the Discord? Is that the domain provider? What's up, namespace? I actually have one of my domains through namespace. It's for a project that I haven't actually shown off yet, but that's really cool that they're on our chat. What's up? All right, we got a super chat from Tech Testers. An actual question. Do you have a video on your Resolve delivery settings? I am working on one. I'm actually working on a few Resolve related videos to kind of finalize my coverage for the year that I've been pushing it or whatever. Specifically for me though, I'm in that awkward position where I have gigabit fiber, and so I just render out to DNxHR and upload that uncompressed to YouTube, which obviously not everyone wants to do. And there is currently a glitch in Resolve 16 in the betas where the native H.264 output is causing some sort of visual glitches, but the NVENC H.264 output is like super soft. Like my OBS 24 video was rendered with that, and the A-roll is like super soft for some reason. So I'm still working on finalizing it. I don't have it live yet, but I will have a video, I'm gonna say by November, on that subject. So stay subscribed for that, and etc. Also, Technical Gaming did make this, not XLR, but this balanced microphone or headphone cable for my headphones. He's made me a couple. They're really sick. He also just sent me, he's opening a shop soon. So he also sent me an XLR cable that he was working on. Nice soft braided cable. Pretty sick. I love custom built cables. I even have, that was loud, one on my microphone here. Go check out his channel. I'm sure he will have videos on it at some point. Also, yes, anyone who comes to our Discord server and uses the Nitro boosts, if you have Discord Nitro, will basically be given the equivalent of a Floatplane or Patreon subscriber role, where you will get early access to videos, behind the scenes content, things like that. I did want to talk about one more streaming-ish tech. Oh, namespace. You didn't realize that was a no domain service at all. You're just called namespace. Okay, that's cool. My bad. I did want to talk about one more topic before we talk about some EPOS related topics here, and that is over here.
The news!
That's not the right article. There we go. Namecheap. Is that what I'm thinking of? Namecheap is probably what I'm thinking of. I'm sorry. Totally mixed it up. Whatever. So this is in French, and I don't speak French, but I've read the English versions, and this is the one I pulled up. So Valve got sued in France, and the court basically decided that Valve needs to allow for not refunds. They need to allow for users to resell or trade, basically, although specifically resell their digital games on Steam, which is a really big deal. Digital files have never been like resellable on virtually any platform, Steam included, and this French court has ruled this. Now, the representative for Valve has already spoken and said that they are completely against this for obvious reasons, and they are appealing it, so nothing is taking effect yet because they're still in the appeals process, and this stuff takes time to really get implemented. But this is really interesting because the last time this kind of lawsuit went through against Valve was when they introduced their refund system. And this could have major implications across all of the digital media marketplace because it would give users a little bit more of a sense of ownership over their files, over their games that they buy, and would radically change the entire marketplace. And I'm not necessarily saying that's for the better, because one of the advantages of PC gaming not having a GameStop where you can buy and trade in your games and things like that is you get better actual sales from the developer. Because the issue with buying and selling, although through digital marketplaces that could change, but with the issue with buying and selling and trading physical games is that none of that money actually goes back to the developer or the publisher. And so you're not actually supporting the publisher. And I take a controversial stance, which not everyone agrees with, but that buying a game used is, on the whole, morally no better than pirating it, because you are not supporting the original developer in any way. Now, there's another moral aspect of supporting your local economy and things like that that I'm not factoring in there. But if your game is not, or, if your purchase is not funding the original creator of the product, you are doing nothing better than just pirating the game in the first place. So, and the advantage that the PC community has over that, since they don't have that kind of ecosystem, is we get things like these seasonal Steam sales. Steam can put the publishers can put games on sale on Steam on a near quarterly basis for like $1 or $5 because they are making money on every single sale of the game. Physical games for like consoles and things like that have never really historically gone on sale much. Other than prices dropping over time because the retailers need to get rid of them, the core price of the game is never really put on sale. It's $60 now, it's $60 in 3 months, other than some rare instances or games that just really don't sell well, like they release in September or October, and by Black Friday they're like $20 because they haven't been selling. You don't get sales anywhere near as cheaply or as frequently because of this. So if this gets implemented, we might see a slow or stopping of the Steam sales. But there is an advantage in that if all of this is handled on Steam itself through the digital marketplace, then Steam itself can track that information and can take a chunk off of the top of that resale process and take that for themselves, as well as a cut for the developers and publishers. And so that could actually be good all around. But at the same time, this could have no effect whatsoever, because I don't think Epic Game Store or Origin or anything have much of a return process. So while the point of setting this kind of legal precedence is to basically have it apply to all digital marketplaces, it's saying, okay, if Valve has to do this, everybody should be doing this. So far, that hasn't actually been the case. So we could see Valve be forced to allow resales and no one else do it. But if the precedent is established that Valve and all digital, that digital media as a concept should be something you should be allowed to trade and resell, then this would affect movies, this would affect music, this would affect games. We're also going to see a weird shift in how games are distributed, because in the short term, that seems really great. I have a Steam library of over 1,000 games. I don't play all of them. I could sell some of them off, pass them along to someone who might play them, and make some money back for myself to invest in other games. But we're already seeing a transition in the games market of games being moved to more of a games as a service model, subscription models, the Xbox Games Pass, where you don't buy the games, you just buy a subscription, so you own the games even less than you did just buying them normally digitally. So we might start to see a shift if that kind of model of returning or reselling games is implemented, that we actually start losing more ownership of our games to these more subscription and games as a service models. And that idea terrifies me. That idea is what keeps me up at night when it comes to gaming, is I can go back and play some of my original PC games like Halo Combat Evolved, Call of Duty 2, things like that, and keep playing with people who've been playing that game for years. Meanwhile, games that came out 4 years ago have already shut down and I have no way of accessing it. You have no way of playing Lawbreakers right now whatsoever. Not with bots, not offline, not by yourself, not online. Lawbreakers is completely dead. Unplayable. Games like that just completely getting wiped off of the map due to the way games are handled these days is terrifying. And so everything being forced into more of a subscription model is not good. It's not. It's convenient for all of the normal people who don't care about any of this and just want quick access to stuff. That's why streaming music has taken off and nobody buys MP3s anymore or rips CDs like I do. But for people like us who care about preservation or being able to, I just don't have time to play a lot of games. I like building up a backlog and then selecting a game from my backlog and playing it. And when I go to play a game from my backlog that is literally unplayable anymore, that's really upsetting. I missed out on that because I didn't have the time. It's all of this new fear of missing out, all of, loot boxes. You got to play right now for this season pass and only play this game. This whole trend that games are moving towards is really scary. And we're going to see that affect everything if this, if that's the direction that this heads. So, yeah. It's a really dramatic note to end on, but I did want to make sure I talked about it because I'm not going to have the time to make a video for the gaming channel or anything like that. We're going to flip on over here. I did have a couple of personal topics I wanted to address before we finish up the stream here. Just, general housekeeping stuff. If you missed it, I did announce in the VR video, which is up on my channel. I uploaded it the same day as the OBS video, so a lot of people missed it. Go check it out. In the VR video, I did announce my wife and I are expecting our first child. We are about 8 or 9 weeks pregnant at this point. Things are pretty crazy already. A lot has already changed, and a lot, of course, will change behind the scenes as this, thing progresses into fatherhood. And so just keep that in the back of your mind. Big deal. It will affect, it's already affected, my ability to produce videos in certain ways. And once we actually have a kid, it will change a lot about my scheduling and things like that. I will try to keep you posted as I adapt. I've already kind of been preemptively changing my formatting a bit to be able to adapt to this kind of thing. And then I also wanted to mention I have been pointed to a couple different ways that I was hesitant to at first. This is not, personal related at all, but a couple different ways that I could test latency for capture cards. And my original way of doing this was I took an actual monitor latency tester, ran it through the capture card, and then put it up to OBS preview and saw how much the latency from real time to OBS was. And I think that information is still valid, but what information people actually want too is how much latency there is between the audio and the video that they have to sync up. And so I am also going to be testing using Twitch's synchronization tool, which has been out for a couple years. I'm just late to the party as usual. I'm going to be retesting all of this, and I do have a website project sort of in the early stages of working where I'll be able to convey all of this information a lot better. It's called Stream Guides. That's why I renamed the show Stream Guides for my streaming coverage. And I'm going to have a lot of really cool stuff on there in time. So I'm super excited for it. Be sure to check it out. Thank you for all the congratulations, of course. Let's come back over here. Actually, I just want to show off this scene since I have it. I use this in my Twitch streams. It's cool. My cat's sleeping right now. Anyway, thank you for the congratulations. I don't want to be that guy, but I will have a couple wish lists that I tweet out at some point once we establish that for like baby lists. I get requests for it all the time. That actually brings me to my point. I forgot to start the mailbox segment. I have a P.O. box. It is linked in the video description, and sometimes viewers send me stuff. So Easel from our Discord server sent me a really cool Spyro shirt for my wish list. Cujo, one of our super supporters, Easel is too as well. One of our super squad on Discord sent me a achievement unlocked fatherhood shirt and baby shirt. And so this showed up in my P.O. box today without warning, so we're going to see what this is. But I do have people that request this sometimes, so I will be tweeting out a couple wish lists soon. I don't have the actual baby-oriented one ready yet. I wanted to wait till we had that filled out the right way first. But I do have my normal one if you just want to support, tools I need for work or toys for backdrops, things like that. Super insignificant stuff that I don't expect anyone to do, but stuff keeps showing up, so I want to put it out there. Let's see what I got. Oops, sorry. Let's see what I got sent. I have no. This could be something from a company or a viewer or spam, to be honest. But this was in my mailbox today when I had to ship some stuff. So, whee! Oh no, not that kind of mail. Oh, these are the worst kind of envelopes. And obviously, this was Amazon's fault, not the shipper. But these things just spill the foam everywhere. They are the worst possible envelopes. Amazon, why? Oh, and the note got torn. Oh, hang on 1 second. Oh, this sucks, dude. I hate these envelopes. Alright. Again, this is Amazon's fault, not anyone else. Oh yeah, and part of the reason I haven't shared any baby list stuff is also because we still have 8 months to go. So, alright. Oh. Dude, okay, so this is a gift from Frank, at FMather. Frank, I believe they tweeted me at this, or tweeted at me about this, and I totally forgot. I didn't realize they were actually going to send it out. Oh, it's going everywhere. Hang on. Oh. Get the envelope away from me. Gotta get rid of the styrofoam. Hang on. Oh, it went everywhere. Failure. I need to get a push button where I can apply all the processing for those kinds of effects. My voice is pretty worn out. So, in my chair reviews, which I covered on my channel, I've recently reviewed the office chair I'm using now, and I've also reviewed a few gaming chairs. And one of the complaints I had about all of the ones except for the one I had started with was that the elbow pads are super hard and make my elbows feel like that they're bruised from using all the time. And I've actually struggled with this a lot in the past like week or two. And someone, I believe it was Frank, reached out and had asked about if I would be willing to try elbow pads for them and stuff. And I thought it was kind of a silly concept, but they actually sent it to the P.O. box. And look at these. These are super soft. They're like velour or super soft padding. They've got foam here. And these will help immensely. So huge shout out and thanks to Frank. I don't know, their actual name, but Frank, thank you. This is going to help a lot because my elbows feel bruised a whole ton. And I don't understand why chairs use such like hard and rigid elbow pads. It drives me nuts. So super thanks. Again, P.O. Box will be in the description below. I was not expecting this today. I was expecting, I don't know, it to be a random sample from a company. So that is really freaking cool. I'm excited to get these strapped on. Hopefully they fit. They look like they're the perfect size. I can't like pull it off to show you on camera, but this is like the perfect size. So this should fix like most of my problems. Huge thanks. Thank you so much to everybody who hung out in this episode of Streamer News. These are all of the news for streaming that I have to cover for today. I will be evolving the show over time. I have a whole What's on the Workbench segment for back there that I have intended to introduce in future episodes and things like that. Just wanted to get some feedback on this pilot episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below as always, and tweet at me otherwise, things like that. Thank you to Tech Testers and the first person who super chatted, who I now forgot their name because I'm a terrible person. Thank you very much. Yeah, chat's not showing me. You guys have a great weekend, and I will see you soon. See you. Contejas says, wait, show the new Blue Yeti. I talked about that first. Just rewind in the stream. Oh. Front Page Tech with the super chat for $4.99. Couldn't be bothered to get that extra 1 penny. That's okay. I understand, John. Thank you, Jern. Or Burn. Whichever one. Thank you, Front Page Tech. Doesn't look like they have any, message to go. But thank you. Much appreciated. Love the support. If you're interested in mobile news, go check out Front Page Tech. They cover a lot of cool stuff. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. I believe I'm shooting some cool stuff with Wendell tomorrow, so stay tuned for some cool videos about that in the future. And I'll see you in the next episode of Streamer News. Wow, my voice is shot. I gotta work on my endurance, so to speak.